Everyone thought my grandfather was just crazy, keeping a wrecked 1969 Chevy in his barn for over 40 years. But yesterday I found out the real reason, and it completely shattered my heart. My name is Angela, and for as long as I can remember, my grandfather was a man of absolute crushing silence. He was a retired steelworker, with hands like rough sandpaper and tired eyes that always looked like they were staring at something 1,000 miles away. His secret was hidden in the old barn. Underneath moth-eaten tarps sat a 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle. It was a hollowed-out corpse. The tires were flat, the paint peeled away, and the engine was a massive block of solid rust. I asked him about it once. He looked down at me, his jaw clenching tight, and said, "Some things, Angela, are simply better left broken." He never brought it up again. Last month, I was digging through his dusty attic, and I found a worn journal. It belonged to my grandmother. She passed away back in 1971, long before I was born. I opened the fragile pages and started reading. The entries were beautiful, filled with youthful hope, but the very last entry, dated September 4th, 1971, stopped the breath in my throat. She wrote, "We finally bought the Chevelle. We are packing the trunk tonight. Tomorrow morning, we drive straight to California, far away from the factory smog, just us and the wide open road." I have never seen him smile so big. She died that exact same night. A sudden aneurysm right in their tiny linoleum kitchen. He never even turned the key. He just pushed the car into the dark barn, threw a tarp over the hood, and let his own heart rust right alongside it. For 50 lonely years, he walked past that barn carrying the invisible weight of a cross-country trip they never got to take. A ghost trip to a California sunset that never even existed. So I decided I was going to fix it. I was going to give him back that stolen moment. I didn't tell anyone. I quietly had it towed out in the dead of night while he slept, making sure not to wake him. I took it to a local auto body shop downtown and paid them to rebuild it from the ground up, no matter the cost. For 3 weeks, I spent absolutely every dime of my savings. We sourced parts, scrubbed away decades of decay, and rebuilt the carburetor. I had them paint it a shimmering midnight blue, the exact color my grandmother vividly described. When they finally turned the key, and that massive V8 engine roared to life, I broke down in heavy tears. It didn't sound like a machine. It sounded like a heartbeat, a really loud, stubborn heartbeat. I planned the reveal perfectly. I was going to drive it up his driveway on a crisp Sunday morning. I just wanted to see him smile, like he did in those faded old black and white photographs. I wanted him to sit in the driver's seat, close his eyes, and finally take that trip in his mind. Sunday morning came. The autumn air was perfectly crisp, and the Chevelle was gleaming. I proudly pulled into the driveway. The gravel crunched loudly under the brand new tires. I laid my hand flat on the horn, letting out a long blast that echoed. I waited, holding my breath. The screen door didn't open. I honked again. Nothing, just the wind blowing through the dry trees. I slowly turned off the engine. The sudden silence was heavy. I walked up the wooden porch steps, my stomach twisting into a cold knot. The door was unlatched. I walked inside the dim house. "Grandpa?" I called out, my voice trembling. He was sitting in his favorite armchair, facing the big window that looked out toward the driveway. His eyes were closed. His face was completely relaxed, far more peaceful than I had ever seen him. On the small side table right next to him was my grandmother's journal. It was open to the very last page. The paramedics told me later he had peacefully passed away in his sleep. Sometime around midnight, he never heard the powerful engine. He never saw the beautiful blue paint. He never knew that I fixed it. Now I have a pristine, beautifully restored 1969 Chevelle just sitting silently parked in my own empty driveway, and every time I look at it, it just reminds me that some things truly are better left broken.